It's the Chevy Music Showcase.
It's the Chevy Music Showcase.
Check out the look on my face. Now come along, it's the Chevy Music Showcase.
It's the Chevy Music Showcase Season 1 Special. An insider view of the St. Louis music scene. Featuring the talents of Beth Bombara, Bottoms Up Blues Gang, Bruiser Queen, Dear Genre, Fillmore, Jeff Koch, John Henry, Tight Pants Syndrome, Alice Hogan, Tucker Booth, Union Tree Review, and The Feed. Presented commercial-free by the Mid-America Chevy dealers.
It's the Chevy Music Showcase.
St. Louis has a music community as diverse, original, and bursting with talent as any major U.S. city. Yet most of us only know it from the narrow point of view of an audience seat. That's why the Chevy Music Showcase endeavors to learn more about the artists that share our city's stages. What put them on this path? What are their challenges? What keeps them going? And how do they turn a nugget of an idea into a connection among complete strangers? Well, to find out, come hang with the band and get to know a few of these modern troubadours.
I've just always been around music my whole life. My dad listened to the oldies, and I just remember my mom listening to records, and I always got to listen to her records with like big headphones on. Super cool. And I started playing in orchestra pretty young, so I got into playing shows kind of early.
When I was a little kid, my grandma, my first like cassette tape player, she got me a little cassette for it was the Fugees, I think. What is that song? That Strong Pain?
Yeah, Lauryn Hill?
Yeah, Lauryn Hill, yeah. They did that cover, and that cover was so good that I started singing.
But it's never so simple, and it's never very clean when you loosely contradict what a feeling means.
You know, I started playing guitar when I was in the 6th grade, and it was fun, but when you're in 6th grade, you have other things to worry about. And then I had a guitar teacher, and my first one for 4 years, and, you know, just one lesson, he was, you know, simply like, this is our last lesson, I have to leave town. But I will tell you, by the time you're 18, if you keep up this, you will be a good guitarist. And that was the first time I was like, I can be a guitarist. Like, it's not like I play the guitar, like that's your identity. And I think from that moment, and soon after, when I was 15, 16, I started playing out with friends, that inspiration, like the idea of like, it's not just a thing I played. I think from that moment, it became something more than like just a hobby. It became like what and who I am.
I remember being like a little kid and seeing like a Green Day video basket case, and I was just like, oh man, I want to do that. And it just hit me, the visuals, the song, the everything. It just was like, whoa, I gotta be in a band, I gotta write songs.
None of my family was musical, but they all really loved music and knew how to talk about music. Whether it was something like the Beatles or, you know, Motown, or my dad telling me about the Eagles, you know, dual guitar solo, you know.
Oh, dude, Harmony.
This is a dual guitar solo. You have got to know this.
Like, I never thought, like, it would be something that I would do. I just, you know, I really liked listening to entertainers. And then my mom said to me one day you're gonna sing on stage with Luther Vandross. And I was like, I could be on a stage singing with someone? Like, that's, I mean, Luther Vandross is dead now, so that dream is gone. But I think it was then that I sort of thought, that's a really cool idea. And then I went and saw my very first local show in St. Louis. I mean, I was probably 15 or 16 when this finally happened. But it was then that I was like, wow, like I know some of these people. Look at this crowd, like they're loving it. And so I started trying to write some songs.
I remember super young, laying on the couch. I had been seeing the Smells Like Teen Spirit video for long enough, and it just occurred to me that I want to do that.
Right.
You know, for whatever reason, the song like that just really just knocked me over with a sledgehammer. You know, and I remember laying on the couch. It was close to bedtime. And I was like, you know what, I've got this little rinky-dink wooden guitar that somebody gave to me as a gift a long, long time ago. I know that I could either pull that up out of the closet right now and start playing guitar for the rest of my life, or I'll turn the TV off and go to bed and forget everything happened. And I knew in that moment that I was at a life, like a changing pivotal moment. And I decided to pick up the guitar before I went to bed.
The desire to make music may come from inside, but the kind of music one makes almost always comes from someone who came before.
Where do your influences and your sound come from?
Influences, as far as instrumentation, me playing the Rhodes and organ, there's a lot of love for like soul music, funky, jazzy stuff, but it's basically just rock and roll.
I'm curious to know what in St. Louis influenced your rock and roll.
Well, Chuck Berry.
Yeah, great town for obviously the blues influence, as you guys know.
And maybe not necessarily Chuck Berry himself, but at least everyone who has been inspired by Chuck Berry, whether it's, I mean, because honestly, that's everybody. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, man, we just wanted to write hits like Carol. And, you know, basically Chuck was influencing everybody.
Well, who were you guys listening to when you put this together?
It started as kind of like a mashup of like an acoustic John Mayer sound, and then we were listening to Rascal Flatts at the same time. And we're like, how can we combine these two elements?
I came up when LL Cool J started getting big, Fat Boys, Run DMC, Beastie Boys. And Beastie Boys, when I heard Brass Monkey, I just thought, wow, that sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. And dark, dangerous music epitomized rap at the time. Ice-T, Eazy-E, the gangster rap got huge, and I just, it felt cool. And then of course eventually you got to do that at some point. And since I wasn't African American or a gangster, it was definitely a while to figure out how I was going to do this.
What excites us? Loud noises.
Me and Charlie are actually huge pop punk fans, and I think that hopefully shows a little bit when I play.
When I was younger, my mom actually got one of those, like, it was tapes. We got tape, the tape club. So yeah, so you pick out like 10 tapes or whatever. And I picked something really stupid like Snow or something really terrible. And my mom got 2 albums that I stole from her. It was Nirvana Nevermind and Pearl Jam 10. And I wore them out. I totally wore those tapes out.
At the end of the day, it is definitely the blues that influences all of this music, especially with what we're doing, whether you're talking about just blues form a little bit of, or just like melodic ideas.
I wanna hear some Tommy Bakehead song, Oliver Sane song, Benny Smith, won't you do it again on South Broadway? I'm drinking my blues swing.
The Venice Cafe every Wednesday night used to be Benny Smith. And before that, it was James Crutchfield. And so when we first started, Benny would drag us on stage and only play songs we didn't know every Wednesday night at the Venice Cafe. And all of the musicians that played with him then became our teachers.
The artists of the Chevy Music Showcase cover a broad range of sounds and styles, but there's at least one trait they all share. They all perform original music. That comes with its own set of challenges, not the least of which is actually writing it.
So you would say you are constantly kind of writing songs. It's like it doesn't come in sort of fits and starts, or is it just kind of?
It's all the time. I get at least songs started all the time. So I'll have like this backlog of all of these songs that I have like thoughts for, and then something else will happen. I'll get inspired to like some lyrics that fit with that, and then it like finally comes to fruition and becomes a song.
I feel like songwriting for me definitely comes in like spurts. It's like sometimes I'll go a long time without coming up with anything new, and then it's like it hits, and all of a sudden I have a handful of songs started, and it's just like, yeah.
You get anxious like when it's been a little while? You're like,
sometimes I do, and I get nervous, and I say, oh, what am I doing trying to be a songwriter? You know, I can't do this, but you know.
And you'll get another burst.
Yeah.
Do you write as a band, or is there one?
Yeah, like I'll bring in like a basic track, and I think that everyone adds kind of their color to it. It's kind of like the skeleton, you know, and then they add the flesh and blood to it.
Yeah, I think we might describe our process as the same thing.
It's building off each other, which is good when it comes to how different our influences are, because we always build this weird masterpiece.
Well, we don't actually write together very often, hardly at all. Yeah, usually Tom, he writes probably 75% of the material. We all kind of say, you know, we vote on it. If there's something we didn't like, we wouldn't do it.
We all don't like that song.
Yeah, but that's never happened, though, yeah.
One night, John just ended up at my house, and we had 2 new songs that just ended up on the album just like a week before we went and recorded, and it was just sort of very spontaneous. And I think that was really cool for the new album, was that a lot of the songs were spontaneous and quick, and we look back on it and we're like, wow, that's an awesome song, like, we really liked it.
I can't really write unless, unfortunately, I'm in like a really dark place mentally. It's just pain. Pain is my fuel.
I don't know, I guess if I'm honest with myself and with you guys, I was really depressed when I wrote the album.
It's interesting you talk about being depressed when you write, because I think both of us could verify that some of the best writing we've ever done has come in dark periods.
So like a lot of songs that I've written about relationships have been like about a musician who I play with who also happens to be my husband. I guess it is kind of funny because he knows they're about him, right? But it's also funny, I've found songs that I've written and he'd say, I think, were you talking about this? And then I thought about it and I was like, yeah. He knew what the song's about before I even did. That's really interesting.
Of course, the work doesn't stop when the song is written. The true test of a songwriter's mettle comes when their masterpiece is set free, to see if it can survive in front of a crowd that usually wants to hear something they know.
You put the art out there and you don't know who it's gonna get, you know, but sooner or later people get back to you and we're like, that song you played during the show, that really hit me, you know? And it might have been a song that I thought was maybe obsolete, you know, but it's nice confirmation, reaffirmation, validation that someone else out there gets it.
The chance of a lifetime, don't be scared. You can't be afraid of what's not there. There's fires in her eyes and I should have kissed her. A brace for the punch that feels like whisper.
I think first and foremost, like, songs are the most important. Good melodies and things people can relate to. And if you're not good, people aren't gonna come back. I remember, like, you have all your friends come for a while, and then your friends don't come anymore, and then you're like, okay, now it has to be because the band's good.
I think that's everybody's labor of love, is not only the music, but how you're gonna perform it, how you're gonna define yourself, and can you be as close to who you really are for the public as you need to be? Because the public isn't dumb. They know when you're being fake and they know when you're being genuine. So I think that's every artist's labor, is to find themselves in front of an audience.
We hear this from our fans a lot of the time, is it really looks like you guys are having fun up there, which definitely, you know, translates to the audience. And when the audience is having a good time and you're having a good time, great things happen on stage, you know.
I have a lot of friends that's what truly broke them of wanting to do it, was just not getting the reaction that they wanted consistently enough and feeling so self-conscious about it. That's part of mastering this, I think. To get in that mind space where you can keep playing and loving it even with a hostile environment, even with no one clapping, you still love it, you know? That's a hard thing to do though, because obviously it takes a lot of courage to just even get up and let yourself be that.
Well, that makes those times when you do get up there and everyone's like just roaring, like those make those moments so much more special.
We're never really worried about what's the crowd gonna, what are they gonna want. It's like, if we're happy with ourselves, someone's gonna like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how we've been since we started.
I mean, there are haters out there. It's not like everyone's gonna love your music. So
yeah, and that's part of the whole deal too, is to me trying to get those guys, and then if they don't like it, well, I can kiss my ass. I don't know if I have to say that.
Goofy white guys rapping is hard for most people to wrap their minds around, especially when they knew me from years and years of playing down in U City on the Del Mar Loop with my acoustic guitar. So
Tucker was the guy that you would see on Del Mar Boulevard rapping Puff Daddy to acoustic guitar, and when people would walk by the street, he would freestyle at them. Well, either he'd get a really angry person, furious that he would bother to incorporate them in their rhyme, or they'd come over and tip and be like, wow, you're amazing.
Inhale my breakfast, you can bet I clean my plate. Then exhale songs straight down Eastgate Avenue. Prance through the loop just to tag a few spots in St. Lou. Even words like Maya Angelou. People want something new, they always do. When dude bustin' like,
who the heck are you? Tucker, through his career, has noticed a series of either really wonderful support and fans that get it, or fans that want to beat him up.
Of course, one can only play so many home games before it comes time to take the show on the road. And where there's a road gig, there's almost certainly a new story to tell.
I called shotgun.
we were playing out of town one night, and we walked into the bar that we were playing at, and it was just a bar. I mean, it may have been as big as this corner, and like there was no stage or anything. We were kind of looking around, and we walked in the place, and everybody's just kind of looking at us like.
The owner was like, you guys look like you're not sure if you're supposed to be here. Like big belly hat, stogie, like maybe we're not supposed to be here.
No, we're in the band, and right away he turned around. He was like, "Oh, great, make yourself at home." And we sat down and ate, and we got up and played our show, and everybody who was present just kind of like starts slowly turning their head over, and they're like, finally started giving us a little bit of attention, and that entire show ended up being the first time we'd ever gotten an encore, which was weird because we weren't prepared for that in any way. We're just like, so do we have any more songs at all?
We've now balanced it out to about a third of the year in St. Louis, a third of the year in New Orleans, and a third of the year driving around the country, all at 2-week stints.
We never see you in New Orleans.
Yeah,
I know, we're there all the time.
Love that city too.
Yeah.
Our last time down there, I think we had only been there like 4 hours, and Kevin was leading a second line.
Yes.
Wow, so fun. Down the street with his snare. I mean, out of nowhere. I mean, people, and it was a little late.
You have to be careful though. If you start banging a drum within 3 minutes, you're gonna have a parade.
Tucker once did a show in Sioux City where a couple in the crowd, incredibly drunk, and most of the crowd wasn't getting Tucker at the time, so they decided to liven it up and yell at Tucker and heckle him in the middle of his set. About 2-3 songs in, Tucker just says, "Sorry, I've done this too long, I don't need this," and walks off. And the promoter comes up with big puppy dog eyes, say, "You gotta fix this, come on, you're the best, you gotta do this." Tucker walks back on and decides, "I'm gonna have a heart-to-heart moment with the crowd."
And I go, I've been on the road, we drove here through a snowstorm, and I've had very little sleep for the last 4 days. So when somebody yells at me from the crowd, you don't know what you're gonna get tonight. And then I immediately launched back into the set.
What worked out perfectly is his song, Make Love, Not War,
What's the next song
happens
coincidentally
to
out the box?
synchronistically come on. And the guy came up on stage and started giving him this big hug. The whole audience starts getting swooning over Tucker Booth, and next thing he leaves, everybody remembers who this guy is, they totally understand him at this point, and they actually dig it.
It was a cool experience to see a crowd turn that fast.
It's not just the road that can work a musician's tail off. Just getting out there and gigging is an investment of time and energy that often serves as a second full-time job.
Sometimes just working for yourself and trying to be productive, that can be really hard. And it's, a lot of doing stuff all on your own. Like as far as, you book your own shows, you don't have a manager or whatever.
It's like completely DIY. We do our own design, our own shirts, our own recording.
And then you print.
Yeah, I screen print the t-shirts and I print all the posters and that. And there's like this weird threshold between like, are you a control freak and like you just want to do it, or like, well, hey, it's cheap and free or whatever it is.
This can't be a job until it is like an official job.
Right.
People don't understand that you have to work at it 100% of the time like that to reach where you want to be. It has to be a job all the time, even when you're not on a label, even when you're not in a huge tour bus, even when you're not playing in front of thousands of people.
Some days I just can't win. I'm stuck in this cycle. Spin and spin. Can't break out. Can't break in. Some days you just can't win.
We have day jobs to support the habit because we're going to be doing it somehow.
If you're looking for a paycheck, it's the odds are not with you to make your living off being a creative person, period, in music.
You find now that you're doing it, it's less fun because of the business aspect?
No, I'm enjoying it more than ever, and it gets better every year, and I'm starting to find reasons to love even the load-in, like the talking to people, just the advancing, all that stuff. So, no, I love it more now than I ever have.
It's a passion and it's a pursuit, but it's also a business. So as much as I want to drive, I want to make a tour to New York City and back. I want to go to Los Angeles and back. And you have this like pioneering spirit, and you're like, I'm going to go see the country. And that's all great. But at the end of the day, if you want to stay in business, you have to be in the black. You can't just keep throwing money away. You know what I mean? This whole thing is very interesting. I'm very challenged by it like every day.
So where is all this heading? Well, you may be surprised to learn that not all of them are gunning for the cover of the Rolling Stone. the dreams are as diverse as the artists themselves.
What I'm after is honestly for one person in the crowd to understand what I'm talking about. Someone actually takes in some of it and like goes home and writes a poem or writes a song or like gets something from it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You know, we're from St. Louis, we take pride in that, but we don't want to, you know, we don't like, oh, we're a local band. We're a band. Like, we do things, you know, any band on any level can do, you know, we just have smaller resources. Each step, you get a little closer, like, maybe we'll go a little farther, all right? Maybe we'll play at the nearest college town every once in a while, all right? Maybe we'll record something, and then all of a sudden you're at that step and you're like, well, we can do 2 weeks out and do Midwest, and then we can hit New York. It's just like a progression that you never think's gonna happen. Then before you know it, you're, you know, opening on a small tour, and before you know it, you're on a label, like, and that doesn't happen for most people, but you never like go into it like, this is what's going to happen.
Won't you bring on the rain, bring on the rain. We'll leave this place. We'll take all the things that we can carry. We'll leave this place, leave this place.
I would love if Tight Pants sold, you know, 10,000 units a year or something. You don't have to be platinum to make your mark.
I think the plan is that all of us, this is what we love to do, this is our passion, and who doesn't want that to be their job also?
I embrace the idea that this is a lifelong pursuit, and I'm interested in working as smart and as hard as I can to not have to wait tables. I mean, that challenge I don't think will ever get old, and even if I get to the point where I'm touring the country and I'm prolific enough to record a record every 9 months, and so I'm always on the road every year with something new, I don't see it getting ever old for me.
I want to create my own style, and even if it's not marketable today, I'd rather work really hard at doing what I want. A lot of people in the status quo are going to try and sell artists on the fact that if it's not making money, then you're not successful, but that's not true. Success for anyone is actualizing what you do. Anything less is just never going to be good enough. Money's never going to do that. It won't.
Yeah, it seems like you guys do really well, you know, staying busy, playing shows, and are successful at that. Are there still things, aspirations to do?
We haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
No, we're just getting started.
At the very least, I would like to, you know, it would be great to play gigs in a full room of people who actually came to see you. They didn't just come into the bar.
Mountainous creative challenges, limited respect, long trips with lousy accommodations, endless hours of hard work, and little or no money. With a job description like that, you gotta wonder, what keeps them going?
My wife likes to say, she's like, I don't like you when you're not playing music for people, because you know,
in a band already,
yeah, because it's totally an outlet, you know, and but there's something very elemental about music that just, you know, sort of balances me, and that's something that's, you know, always been, since I discovered music when I was really little, it just kind of has always been there.
So many bands I know that were really serious about being a band, and then as soon as they realized, oh, we're not going to be huge rock stars. Maybe they took a trip to LA they thought was going to be the beginning of something. They come back 3 months later and they're all like broke, and they just quit. And then maybe they'll come and be a cover band later just for money, but it's like, then you were in for it for the whole wrong reason. If that turned you off from playing music with your friends, you weren't in for the right reason in the first place. But it's great to try for that, and that's great. You know, let's all do it. But there's just such a small amount of people that actually do get to that point that are allowed to. And you know, once you realize that's not going to happen, you got to do it because it's your passion, that's your love. I'll be doing this until my fingers stop working, you know what I mean? And then I'll probably just play drums.
I play music because my brain won't stop writing songs. And so I might as well play them for somebody to hear. It's an outlet for me, like emotionally, and without playing music or writing songs, I don't see life without it.
It's great to play in the big stages, and when you pack a house and, you know, you can make some good money, and it's a great time, no doubt, but when you can have a more intimate crowd and really, you know, connect with people.
When you can feel it, it comes back at you.
I love being an entertainer. And, you know, I do my best before every show now to remind myself that I'm really here to give my love and my joy and my passion to the crowd. It's about that coming across clearly to the audience.
I realized the particular power of music with trying to make a song for other people that can knock them over with a sledgehammer like I've been knocked over. And I felt like it'd be a worthwhile life pursuit to try to make that happen for other people.
Local music defines and enriches a community, and it only thrives with your support. So treat yourself to a night out sometime and cheer on a local musician. They've earned it.